I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17, 14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
If you all each had one word or a sentence, how would you describe Jeffrey Epstein?
A master manipulator.
A charismatic monster.
A master manipulator.
Very cruel.
Billionaire who rubbed shoulders with US Presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton has been accused of running a sex trafficking ring involving underage girls.
He estimated dozens of victims were as young as 14 years old.
What was referred to as a revolving door of young girls.
I was 14 years old. I was 16 years old. I was 14 years old.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females? Are you kidding?
It's the perfect world for a billionaire getting away with what he was doing.
Imagine a place that looks like heaven. A private island in the Caribbean. 75 acres of pure luxury. Blue waters, golden beaches, a massive mansion, and palm trees swaying in the wind. To the outside world, this was Little St. James, a billionaire's paradise. But to the locals, they didn't call it paradise. They called it Paedophile Island, because hidden behind this beauty was a house of horrors. A place where teenage girls, some as young as 12, were trapped. A place where the world's most powerful men, princes, presidents, and scientists, allegedly came to party.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
We need to release the Epstein list.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Trump administration's announcement that no Jeffrey Epstein client list exists.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
For years, this story was buried. The man at the centre of it, Jeffrey Epstein, took his secrets to the grave. But now the files are unsealed. Today, we are deep diving into the Epstein files. We will look at the man, the monster, the sweetheart deal that saved him, his mysterious death.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. It shows you one thing, that I have good taste, okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. His island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
And finally, the names on the list. This is the story of America's darkest scandal. Chapter 1. The nobody who became somebody. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Before the private jets and the islands, he was nobody. He started as a math teacher in New York. He didn't even have a college degree. But in the 1980s, something strange happened. He quit teaching and entered the world of banking. Within a few years, this math teacher became a financial wizard. He claimed to manage money for billionaires only. But here is the mystery. No one really knew how he made his money. Suddenly he was everywhere. He was shaking hands with Donald Trump. He was flying to Africa with Bill Clinton. He was hanging out with Prince Andrew of the British royal family. He bought a mansion in New York, one of the biggest in the city. He bought the island. He bought a fleet of private jets. One of these jets would later be nicknamed the Lolita Express. He had money, he had power, and he used both to build a trap. Chapter 2. The Pyramid Scheme of Abuse. Epstein didn't operate alone. He created a system, a sick, twisted business model. It started in Palm Beach, Florida. Girls from poor neighborhoods would be approached. They were told, "Come to this house, give a massage, and you will get $200. For a struggling teenager, $200 was a lot of money. But when they arrived, it wasn't a massage job, it was abuse. But here is the most shocking part. Epstein turned his victims into recruiters. He told the girls, If you bring more friends, I will pay you extra. It became a pyramid scheme. One victim brought 2 friends. Those 2 brought 4 more.
I don't think he cared. He told me the younger the better.
He asked me to take my shirt off, so I took my shirt off.
Okay, so were you in bra or were you topless?
I ended up being topless, yeah. And he started getting a little excited about it, and he started touching himself.
95% of the time, there was always sex involved. Jeffrey couldn't take a 2-hour flight without having to ejaculate. Like, that's how sick this man was.
The police later found that this chain reaction had trapped hundreds of girls. And overseeing it all was his partner, Ghislaine Maxwell. The daughter of a media tycoon, she was the one who made the girls feel safe. She groomed them. She was the bridge between the monster and the victims.
She just seemed very nice, and she said, I've got a person that I know who's actually looking for a traveling masseuse. If he likes you, we can get you educated, you'll be a real masseuse. And you'll get to travel and see the world. And you know, like, she made it sound like it was a dream come true. So put it this way, we did the back of him, we did the back of Epstein, and then when he turned over, that's when I was instructed to get undressed and have sex with Jeffrey Epstein while Ghislaine Maxwell was participating as well.
Chapter 3. The Deal of the Century. In 2005, the police finally caught on. A mother in Florida complained that her 14-year-old daughter was abused.
Oh my gosh, I was 14 years old. Like, what the hell do you know when you're that young?
The police raided Epstein's house. They found evidence. They found photos. The FBI got involved. The case was rock solid. Jeffrey Epstein should have gone to prison for the rest of his life. But he didn't. Enter the sweetheart deal. Epstein's lawyers met secretly with the federal prosecutor, Alexandra Costa. They made a deal that is almost impossible to believe. Instead of life in prison, Epstein pleaded guilty to just 2 minor charges. His sentence? Only 18 months, and it gets worse. He didn't even stay in a real jail cell. He was allowed to leave the jail every day for 12 hours to go to his office and work.
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes, sir.
And is it 7 days a week that you're out on work release?
No, sir.
How many days a week are you out on work release?
6.
And of those 6 days, how many hours per day are you out on work release?
12.
But the most dangerous part of this deal was a hidden clause. It gave immunity to any potential co-conspirators. This meant that if anyone else helped Epstein, like his rich friends or Ghislaine Maxwell, they could not be prosecuted. The government basically agreed to cover up the network. The case was closed. Or so they thought. Chapter 4. The Suicide. Fast forward to 2019. The world had changed. The hashtag #MeToo movement had started. An investigative journalist named Julie K. Brown refused to let the story die. She tracked down the victims and published a massive report. Public outrage forced the FBI to act. Epstein was arrested again. This time, there would be no deal. He was facing 45 years in prison. He was locked up in one of the most secure jails in New York. He was the man who knew everything. He had dirt on the most powerful men in the world. And then, silence. On August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell. The official story? Suicide by hanging. But the circumstances were suspicious. He was supposed to be on suicide watch, but he wasn't.
Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide overnight in a Manhattan jail cell.
Do you think there was foul play here?
The forensic evidence released so far point much more to murder and strangulation than the suicide.
His cellmate was transferred out the night before, leaving him alone. The 2 guards supposed to check on him fell asleep, and the cameras pointing at his cell, they malfunctioned that exact night. The phrase, "Epstein didn't kill himself," became a global slogan. People believed he was silenced to protect the secrets of the elite. Epstein was dead, but his files were still there. Chapter 5. The Unsealed Files, 2024. For years, people demanded the release of the court documents. In January 2024, a judge finally ordered them to be unsealed. Thousands of pages were released. The world held its breath. Who was on the list? Now, we need to be careful here. Being named in the files doesn't automatically mean someone is guilty of a crime. Some were witnesses, some were victims, and some were friends. But the details are disturbing. Name number 1, Bill Clinton. The former US president is mentioned dozens of times. The files confirm he flew on Epstein's private jet. One victim stated that Epstein once said, "Clinton likes them young."
Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, every single weekend they lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
Clinton has denied all allegations, saying he cut ties with Epstein years ago.
Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein?
Name number 2, Prince Andrew. The files contain detailed accusations from Virginia Giuffre, who says she was forced to sleep with the prince in London, New York, and on the private island.
And then we get in the car, and Ghislaine tells me in the car that I have to do what I do for Jeffrey for Prince Andrew. And that's when I learned what was going to happen.
She provided a photo of the two of you together.
Yes.
How do you explain that?
I can't. Because I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken.
Your friend suggested that the photo is fake.
I think it's, from the investigations that we've done, you can't prove whether or not that photograph is faked or not, because it is a photograph of a photograph of a photograph. So it's very difficult to be able to prove it. But I don't remember that photograph ever being taken.
How many times were you trafficked to him?
3 times.
The prince paid millions to settle a civil case, but he has never faced criminal charges. Name number 3, Stephen Hawking. This was a shock to everyone. The famous physicist visited the island for a science conference. In an email, Epstein offered money to help disprove a rumour that Hawking participated in an underage orgy.
People sometimes wonder, like we're scientists, hanging out with him to get with these young women or something. There are some scientists like that. They were spending time with him because he was giving their laboratories money that they didn't have to write grants for.
Why was he doing that?
He clearly understood social engineering. He understood that rich people they can get anything they want, except the one thing they can't easily control is their reputation, because that requires other people's perceptions, and just being rich doesn't make you necessarily respected.
Name number 4, Donald Trump. Trump is mentioned in the files, but mostly by witnesses saying they didn't see him on the island, or Epstein bragging about knowing him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. That is unbelievable. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax.
However, we know they were close friends in the 90s, with Trump once calling Epstein a terrific guy. The list goes on. Magician David Copperfield, singer Michael Jackson. It paints a picture of a man who collected famous people like trophies to protect himself. Conclusion. The unfinished puzzle. The release of these files was a victory for truth, but was it a victory for justice? Jeffrey Epstein is dead. He will never stand trial. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison serving 20 years. But what about the others? The clients? The men who visited the island, who flew on the planes? So far, not a single one of the powerful men named in these files has been charged with a crime. The Epstein story teaches us a scary lesson about the world we live in. It shows us that there are 2 justice systems, one for you and me, and one for the super rich. The files are out, the secrets are exposed, but the question remains, will anyone else ever pay for what happened on that island? If you found this deep dive informative, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. There are thousands of pages still being analysed, and as more secrets come out, we will be here to cover them. Thanks for watching.